have Setline People Free, who has requested the floor. Please, you have the floor.
Set my people free, and I think it is a very important issue which was brought today. But I think there is fatigue from speaking, and because of our desire of the importance of the emphasis of implementation. We all know that freedom starts with freedom of speech. And if you cannot promote your opinion in the media or in the internet, then there is no freedom of speech if you cannot promote it. And I think freedom starts with freedom of speech. If you do not have freedom of speech, then, of course, it is very key for our own life to be free. If no one can hear your speech, then there is no use to have freedom of speech. And I feel the control of information is power. And it is the first step to control people is to stop freedom of speech. And through history, if we go back, we find the main problem always, freedom of speech was tried to be controlled. And it is always controlled by the majority or the powerful. And so it is very hard to hear the voice of the minority, the poor, the weak, through the centuries. But, for example, it mainly went through stories, different things. Sorry, I will not go through everything here, but the printing press have helped to make freedom of speech stronger. But again, it was controlled. We see how the media today is controlled, if it is newspaper or TV. And the internet came and it gave equal platform for all of us, even for the poor or the weak, to be able to express themselves. So when the internet came, it again took away the monopoly from the powerful and from the rich, and their control over the media. It made information more accessible and gave the individual the platform and the power to implement his right of freedom of speech and make his voice heard internationally. What is legal outside the net should be legal in the net. Without freedom of speech, there is no equality. Freedom of speech empowers the weak and the poor. The internet gave power for the individual, power for the weak and the small and the poor to be in the same arena with the rest. Today, the powerful want to control the internet to limit again freedom of speech through the law and their political power, as the internet challenges their dominance. Outlawing what is lawful outside the internet from being posted is stripping the individual from the freedom of speech and infringing on his freedom. When media is controlled, people are controlled. As you then feed them the information you want and stop them from questioning you. Truth is never afraid of being challenged or questioned. Critical thinking is very crucial for development, growth, and knowledge. We need to be free to express ourselves without it being intimidated, ridiculed, and we should be willing to be criticized. And I think we should not be afraid of surveillance. If I'm not committing a crime, it will be a sad thing if I'm criminalized because of my opinion, or freedom of thought, or freedom of conscience. That is the problem. We have to deal that we should have the freedom of thought, conscience, and opinion. What makes me sad is that we don't stand with the people who suffer, who say their opinion. 3 young men were killed in Bangladesh. I don't know how much we stood with them and said this is wrong. Charlie Hebdo, they died at the beginning of this year. We kind of forgot them. They have families, they have children, they have friends who are still mourning their death. But how much did we speak together, united, for the right of freedom of speech? Of course, freedom of speech should be accompanied with justice. But I feel freedom in the media is very key. Through the internet, because as I said, through history we have seen how the things rolled up. The printing press, TV, radio, and then of course now we have the internet. So we need to protect that. And thank you for bringing this topic out for discussion.